My South Asian friend called me at midnight and asked if I was alone. I thought he needed help, but instead, he sent me a Tinder profile.
It was late, well past midnight, when my phone rang. My friend's name flashed on the screen. I answered, and his voice was shaky, nervous. He asked if I was alone, and right away my stomach tightened. You know that feeling when you just know something is wrong? I told him I was and asked what was going on. He hesitated, took a deep breath, and then said he found something. Something I needed to see. The regret in his voice was thick, almost tangible, even before he sent the message. A moment later, a screenshot popped up on my phone. At first I laughed. It had to be a prank, a fake Tinder profile. But then I saw the name, my wife's name, and then the pictures. My heart didn't just sink. It plummeted. The bio read, "Newly single and exploring." I scrolled through the images, each one a fresh stab of betrayal. They were photos I had taken of her. On our vacations in Hawaii, in Paris, by the lake. Photos she once told me she cherished because, in her words, "You capture me the way no one else can." Now, she was using my view of her to sell herself to strangers. I just sat there, on the couch, staring at the screen, a tidal wave of emotions crashing over me: shock, anger, confusion, and a deep, hollowing sadness. My friend started apologizing over and over through the phone. He said he stumbled across her profile by complete accident while swiping. He told me he wrestled with whether to tell me, but ultimately decided I deserved to know the truth. I thanked him, my voice barely a whisper, feeling completely numb. After I hung up, I just sat in the dark, the glow of the phone screen illuminating the proof of my wife's secret life. When she came home later that night, a cloud of perfume I'd never smelled before followed her out of the bathroom. She never wore that for me. I didn't say a word. I just held up my phone and showed her the screenshots. She froze. The color drained from her face, leaving her pale and wide-eyed. Her first reaction was to play dumb. She tried to act confused, asking why her pictures were on Tinder, as if she were the victim. I just looked at her and said, "Don't insult my intelligence." That's when the excuses started, stuttering and weak. She claimed she made the account as a joke with her friends. She swore she wasn't actually meeting anyone. She said she just wanted to feel wanted. That one hit me hard. I asked her, "Why did you need strangers to want you when you have me?" She finally looked at me, tears welling in her eyes, and said she felt ignored. She felt like I didn't appreciate her anymore. My mind raced through the last few months. Had I been distant? Had I taken her for granted? Maybe, but my next question cut through all of that. Then why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you talk to me instead of turning to a dating app? She had no answer. Her silence was louder and more honest than any of her lies. I got up and went to bed without another word. She followed me crying, begging me not to give up on us. I turned my back to her and stared at the wall until morning. The next morning, I did something I never thought I would do. While she was still asleep, I picked up her phone. I felt disgusting doing it, like I was violating a sacred trust, but the truth is she had already shattered that trust. I needed to know how deep the betrayal went. And what I found was so much worse than the profile, the messages. They made me feel physically sick. She had been talking to multiple men. Flirting, sending selfies I'd never seen, making plans, weaving a detailed narrative of a single life she wished she had. Every line I read chipped away at the woman I thought I had married, revealing a stranger. She woke up to find me standing by the bed, holding her phone. The sight broke her completely. The act was over. She started begging, pleading for me to listen. She swore she never met anyone in person, that it was all for the attention, that she was just lonely. She kept repeating that she didn't want to lose me. I looked at her, at this person I no longer recognized, and said, "You already lost my trust." She followed me around the house as I started to pack a bag, her cries echoing in every room. She promised we could fix this. She would delete everything. She would change. She would do whatever it took. But the damage was done. I told her, "I am not going to be with someone who needs the validation of strangers to feel whole." She grabbed my arm, her grip desperate. "Do you still love me?" she asked. The question hung in the air. "Love doesn't survive when respect dies," I told her quietly. Her face crumbled. "Do you want a divorce?" I told her I wasn't sure yet. But I needed space to think, away from her, away from this house filled with her lies. I walked out the door before she could say anything else. She chased me to the car, begging me not to leave. The last thing I said to her was, "You should have thought about that before you downloaded Tinder." I drove straight to my friend's house. The same friend who had called me. He opened the door, took one look at my face, and just pulled me into a hug. In that moment, I felt everything at once. I was broken, furious, and in a strange way, relieved. The pretending was over. Betrayal hurts the most when it comes from someone you believed in so deeply. I spent that night on his couch, replaying our marriage in my head, pinpointing every moment she must have chosen a lie over honesty, a stranger's fleeting attention over my steady love. The next morning, my phone was blowing up with texts from her. She made a terrible mistake. She deleted everything. She was ready to work on us. I didn't respond. For the first time in years, I felt a sliver of the freedom she was pretending to look for online. I didn't know what the future would hold, if our marriage could be saved, or if it was even worth saving. But I knew one thing for sure. I deserve someone who chooses me, even when no one is watching. Thank you for listening to my story. If you're going through something similar, know that you're not alone and your feelings are valid. Don't forget to take care of yourself first.